The universal life principle is speaking through you now as a desire, for God speaks to man through desire. You desire to be greater than you are. You desire health, love, peace, harmony, abundance, security. If you don't, you're abnormal. Your ultimate desire is to be sense of oneness with God, called the yoga of love. This life principle will reveal to you the way for the fulfillment of your dream. It knows how to bring it to pass, but you must open your mind and heart and receive wholeheartedly the gift of the one who forever is. Cast out of your mind all preconceived notions, false beliefs, and superstitions, and realize that before you call I will answer, while you're yet speaking I will hear. This means that you must order your mind and thoughts to conform to the age-old truth that whatever you are seeking already subsists in the infinite mind. It's already there. All you have to do is to identify mentally and emotionally with your desire, idea, plan, or purpose, realizing it is as real as your hand or heart. For example, you may have a new invention in your mind. You haven't committed it to paper, you haven't drawn a diagram. A good sensitive psychic or medium or clairvoyant can describe that invention. Why? Because it's already in your mind. And you're in rapport with the sensitive or the psychic, and they can describe it. Why? It's already there. That's the reality of it. As you walk the earth in the assumption that your prayer is answered, you shall have the joy of experiencing its reality objectively. The invention on the part of the inventor is as real as its objective counterpart. This is why your desire or new project is also real, subjectively speaking. That new book, that new play, where is it? It's in your mind. It's real. It has form, shape, and substance in another dimension of mind. I saw a girl dancing at Jasper Park Lodge. It was easy to see the wisdom, intelligence, order, and rhythm of the spirit flowing through her. She said she was dancing for God, to use her own term. She received tremendous applause for work well done. That's wisdom, isn't it? You see, the beauty, the order, the symmetry, the proportion, the grace, the charm, all that's wisdom. She deserved the praise and encomium uttered. She danced graciously, gloriously, and rhythmically. She told me that her teacher told her to always pray that God was dancing through her, and that God's beauty, order, proportion, and wisdom would always function through her. Struggle, toiling, moiling, yes, are not the answer. Reverence for the infinite, contacting the infinite power, that's the answer. The late Henry Hamlin of England told me that he was hard-pressed financially. He was the editor, and the book is still functioning, of course, called The Science of Thought Review. He was hard-pressed financially one day, and walking home in the snow, he suddenly became aware that the wealth and love and goodness of God were like the billions of snowflakes falling all over London. He said, I opened my mind and heart at the moment to God's infinite riches, knowing that God's wealth, love, and inspiration were falling in onto my mind and heart like the snowflakes were falling all over London. From that moment forward, wealth flowed to him freely, joyously, and endlessly. He never lacked for wealth all the days of his life. He changed his mind, and according to the change in his mind was it done unto him. London, the fog of London, the snow and everything else, his environment hadn't changed. The office was the same. Everything was the same, but he had changed. He had changed internally and became an instrument for the riches of life, spiritually, mentally, in all ways. There is no such thing as something for nothing. You must always pay the price, and the coin, of course, is attention. Give your attention to music or to electricity or to anything, and love it, and it will give its secrets back to you. Love truth, and say, I want to know the inner meaning of the Bible. I want to know what all these allegories and parables mean. And if you have a hunger and thirst, all the inner meanings will be given to you. Whether given to you from within, like Quinby, or through a teacher, what difference does it make? For all wisdom is within you. And wisdom will be transmitted to you as you realize that the infinite is within you. And as you practice music, or whatever it is you practice, and you fall in love with music, like Vera Ratcliffe, our organist, well, of course, men and women pay her, and money too, and then also in praise. And she's invited here, there, and everywhere. She can't accept all the invitations because she knows a lot about music and loves music and has practiced it and given attention to it and paid the price. And wisdom is the principal thing. Wisdom is the presence and power of God functioning in you. And with all thy getting, you're told, get understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will make plain thy paths. Trust him and believe in him, and he will bring it to pass. Here's an interesting article. Here's a woman who paid the price. It's in the Times, May the 2nd, this year, 75. And the caption is by Greg Waskell, in the driver's seat. He said, Maud is still wheeling and dealing at age 103. You can rest assured she paid the price in serenity and tranquility and good humor and a love of the divine. This is what he says. She peers out from behind her Coke bottle glasses, walking in small, slow steps towards her pride and joy. For most people her age, pride and joy would mean great-grandchildren, or maybe even great-great-grandchildren. But for 103-year-old Maud Tull, the greatest thing in her life is her car, an electric job, despite the fact that she is 38 years past the retirement age. She recently passed the test for renewal of her California driver's license for the 11th straight year. Maud Tull is one of the 10 oldest drivers in the state. But that is just part of her story. As spry at 103 as most are at 65. She handles payments for a home mortgage company 7 days a week. Isn't that wonderful? I'll never retire, she said, because if I ever did, I'd starve. They just don't pay enough with Social Security for even an old person like me to eat these days. This way I never have to apologize to anyone. I can live the way I want and do the things I want without always being told what to do. Mrs. Tull lives in an Inglewood apartment house. Her best friend and constant companion, Ida Gleason, lives in a nearby apartment. Mrs. Gleason is another spring chicken. She's only 93. They ride in the crowded streets of Inglewood every day, bound for the market, the bank, or the local park, where they love to spend their time playing cards under a shady tree. Mrs. Tull began driving in 1965, after her husband died. Since then it has been she and Ida Gleason on their own. Mrs. Tull said she wouldn't have it any other way. I don't take any favors, she said. I earn everything I get. I've always made my own way, and I always will. But most of all, Mrs. Tull loves her car, a shiny brown and white electric ring two-seater. It only goes 20 miles an hour, but somehow it seems much faster. She carefully rolls back the cover that has kept the paint job looking new for 4 years. This task takes about 10 minutes. Then she's ready to unlock the doors. Again, the utmost care is used to make sure the paint isn't scratched. Finally, she climbs in, and Mrs. Gleason sits beside her. And with a gentle whirring sound, Mrs. Tull and Mrs. Gleason are off for another busy day. That's the end of the article. It's interesting, isn't it? She loves life. She paid the price. She loves life. She's interested in life. She isn't interested in a handout or things of that nature. She's interested in contributing to humanity and a great love for life. Thou wilt show me the path of life. It's interesting. Serenity and tranquility, humor and laughter. That keeps you young. You know, patience never grows old. Love never grows old. Joy never grows old. Harmony never grows old. Laughter never grows old. Goodwill never grows old. Gentleness and kindness never grow old, or compassion or understanding. These are eternal, aren't they? And the life principle never grows old. It was never born, it will never die, and water wets it not, and fire burns it not, and wind blows it not away. So that life principle in you is eternal. We grow old when we are bitter, when we are resentful, hateful, when we are full of self-condemnation, ill will. These emotions and thoughts corrode our soul, and we grow old, regardless of our age chronologically. Here's a man who paid a price. Yes, a hunger and thirst, and a great interest too. A vision gave an inventor an idea that changed the world, by the Reverend Webb Garrison, published in a newspaper some time ago. And I'm quoting now. The man who invented the steam engine, forever changed the world, got his idea from a vision. The engine was given to me from the outside, James Watt said. I did not create it, I only accepted it. Watt was born in Scotland in 1736, had little formal education. He earned his living as a repairman in Glasgow. I could repair nearly every kind of mechanical device, Watt once said. One day in 1764, a customer brought a defective engine into my shop. This one event was to change my life completely. A Newcomen engine was a very crude steam engine. It was occasionally used in mines to pump out water, but it was never very efficient, consuming a lot of energy and accomplishing very little work. While Watt was fixing the engine, he conceived the idea of an entirely new kind of steam engine that will overcome all the faults of the Newcomen. But he lacked the knowledge to convert his idea into reality. Then a vision came to him one Sunday afternoon in May 1766, while he was walking in a Glasgow park, thinking and dwelling upon the engine. In the vision, Watt said, he saw a steam engine in complete detail. Before I had walked much further, the whole thing was arranged in my mind. The next morning he went to work, and in less than 12 hours he had built a new engine that efficiently harnessed the power of steam. He patented the idea in 1781, and 1782 won additional patents for improvements. There have been few changes in it since 1782. Watt's invention was soon put to work in factories, replacing animals and men, and triggering the start of the Industrial Revolution. That's why I said to you, you can have an idea worth a fortune. You can have an idea putting millions to work, yes, thousands to work. James Watt paid the price. The coin that he paid was attention, interest, and devotion, realizing that he could bring forth an engine that would serve humanity. Mentally and emotionally with your desire, idea, plan, or purpose, realizing it is as real as your hand or heart. For example, you may have a new invention in your mind. You haven't committed it to paper, you haven't drawn a diagram. A good sensitive, psychic, or medium, or clairvoyant. The universal life principle is speaking through you now as a desire, for God speaks to man through desire. You desire to be greater than you are, you desire health, love, peace, harmony, abundance, security. If you don't, you're abnormal. Your ultimate desire is to be sense of oneness with God, and can describe that invention. Why? Because it's already in your mind. And you're in rapport with the sensitive or the psychic, and they can describe it. Why? It's already there. That's the reality of it. As you walk the earth in the assumption that your prayer is answered, and realize that before you call I will answer, while you're yet speaking I will hear. This means that you must order your mind and thoughts to conform to the age-old truth that whatever you are seeking already subsists in the infinite mind. It's already there. All you have to do is to identify called the yoga of love. This life principle will reveal to you the way for the fulfillment of your dream. It knows how to bring it to pass, but you must open your mind and heart and receive wholeheartedly the gift of the one who forever is. Cast out of your mind all preconceived notions, false beliefs, and superstitions.